Okay guys, welcome to the Real EV Talk, take two. We're gonna try this again. I do apologize. I have just reset all the settings here and hopefully we are now streaming without any lag. So guys, if you're new here, my name is Chris. I have this YouTube channel, well, dedicated to testing EVs. I do range tests, charging tests. I drive EVs down to 0% to see how far you can go on a full charge of battery. And I also, do ordinary reviews. Usually that's the type of video I do here on the channel, but now once a week I'm going to try to do this live stream, which is called the Real EV Talk. I've kind of been changing the name a little bit, but I think I've landed on the name the Real EV Talk, where we do real talk about EVs or talk about real EVs. You guys, the viewers, my followers, or just ordinary people who've watched the channel, now is no lag. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, that is awesome. So the point of this, well, live stream here is for me and you guys to talk about EVs, because there are a lot of things to talk about when it comes to electric cars. So if you're new here, please be sure to drop a like, a thumbs up on the video down below. That is much appreciated. And hopefully in this stream, we will be able to get to 150 likes. Last stream, we were able to get to 100 likes, so we're aiming for 150 likes. So guys, hit that like button down below, and also if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel, then hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out on all the cool videos I have coming. This week I've been testing the Kia EV6, and that is the topic of today's live stream, the Kia EV6 versus the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is a heated topic. When I make videos on each of these cars, you guys and other people watching comment a lot, and people have very different opinions. It is very interesting. Yeah, there we go, finally working properly. So again, I do apologize, guys, that I have not been able to do this live stream smoothly. This is our third live stream, but really our first official live stream, because the first one I did 2 weeks ago was kind of just beta testing. The one I did last week was supposed to be a proper one, but I wasn't able to get my camera working. This has been a real hassle. Live streaming is not easy to set up. A lot of trial and error, but hopefully, guys, we now have proper video quality. I am now filming on my main camera, the one I use to shoot my YouTube videos, my Sony a6600. I have a proper microphone, so hopefully the audio is pretty well. And also I have a light up here, so I am nicely illuminated. So there we go, no lag. Thank you. That is awesome, guys, that we have no lag. So hopefully the video quality is great, and also the audio quality is great. Sound is 0.1 in front of video. Okay, guys, I don't know how to adjust that. We'll just have to live with that on this stream, but hopefully, yeah, we will be able to sort that out at a later point. Yeah, look at camera. I've been looking at the camera since the whole beginning, but I'm going to be looking at different screens because I have my main screen here, which is the live streaming software I have on this screen. And here also I'm going to have the web browser, so if we're going to dive into any web pages, and then here I have YouTube live stream set up, and then I have my camera right there. So I'm going to be looking at different things throughout this live stream. But as I said, guys, welcome to the live stream, and hit that like button. We're trying to get to 150 likes now. We're only at 9 likes, even though we have 63 viewers. So guys, hit that like button. So today's topic is that we are going to talk about the Kia EV6 and also the Hyundai or Hyundai Ioniq 5. I've been testing the Kia EV6 the past week. If you guys haven't seen, I've done the motorway range test, I've done the exterior and interior tour, I've also done the 10 to 80% charging time and charging speed test, and then the video that dropped yesterday was the Norwegian high-speed run. And then on Wednesday, my review will drop on the EV6. So I'm not going to reveal too much in this video, even though hopefully that video is going to get a lot of views, and all of you, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for too many people, and if you don't want to know, well, about the EV6 too much, why did you click on this video? It's titled EV6 versus Ioniq 5. But okay, guys, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. And then I want to go through some talking points here. And then after that, or during it, we're going to do some questions. We can start off with just looking at the chat here. Okay. Yeah, people just saying no lag. Can pedestrian warning sound be switched off in EV6 Ioniq 5? A bit loud and annoying. I have no idea. I have no idea. The light emerging. I had an order on an EV6 but cancelled due to very long wait time. Norway waiting for Nissan Ariya and my new Tesla Model Y when new battery pack. So for you people who have ordered an EV6 here in Norway, or doesn't matter where in the world, let me know what your delivery times are, the estimated delivery times. I'm pretty curious. Because if people are waiting 3 months or waiting 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, is to wait longer. You look at camera, but we see you look upper. Okay, right now I'm looking at the camera. This is what I'm looking at when oh yeah, I'm looking up. Oh yes, okay. I understand. Okay, I understand. Okay, so this is really interesting. So I have a flip screen on this camera which sits above. But when I mount this in a car, it's mounted to the windshield with a suction cup. Then it's mounted upside down. So this is a tip. If you're guys are going to do vlogging or YouTubing, looking at the screen above, it's really obvious. To me, I'm sitting like maybe 1.5 meter from the camera, so I can't see it because the screen is so small. But when I'm looking at the screen above, you guys can see it clearly that I'm looking above the lens. But when you look at the screen below it, that is not visible at all. So in all of my videos, I look at the screen below. Nobody can see that. And now right away, you guys are picking up that I'm looking at the screen above the lens. That's pretty interesting. So, okay, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for the clarification. I will now be looking right into the lens. Thank you so much, Lars Petter. He's been donating 100 kroners or 10 euros via the super chat. And guys, if you want to support the channel, if you want to support the live stream, you can donate via the super chat down below. It's the dollar icon. You can donate money and then you can ask a question. I guarantee you I will answer that question. So Lars Petter, before we're going to dive into the EV6 Ioniq 5, thank you so much. That is so awesome. I do appreciate it. He's waiting for the, lightning emerging also, guys, thank you so much. Okay, he says, I'm waiting for the 476 horsepower Polestar 1. So Lars Petter, you live in Norway, right? I got an email from Polestar last week or 1.5 weeks ago that it should be out, right? It should be out. Let me see that email, what they wrote. I'm just gonna check that email from Polestar because this was like a press release, right? Here in Norway. Okay, let's go. Performance upgrade, December 9th. Let's see. This is the one. There's a lot of information here. December 7th. So that's 2 weeks ago, right? Okay, so the performance upgrade. Okay, this is all in Norwegian, so I'm not gonna read it out loud, but it was announced on the 7th of December. But it should be available, Lars Petter, because I asked Polestar immediately for a car and they could give me one right before this weekend. So today it is Monday. They could give me one on Friday with the software update, but I said no because I'm testing the EV6, and then today I picked up the Mercedes-Benz EQS that I'm going to have till after Christmas. So maybe I can test one next week. That would be pretty awesome. And but it should be no. Here it says. Sorry, note to editors. Here it says. Are starting to roll out in the following markets: the UK, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Finland, Denmark, Germany, Austria, and China. And then in America and Canada in the spring of 2022. The price is going to be 1,000 euros. So for you guys who are not familiar with this, if you got a Polestar 2 long-range dual motor with 408 horsepower, there's now been released a software update, a performance update, bumping power up to 476 horsepower. That drops the 0 to 100 kilometers time from 4.7 down to 4.4 seconds, which is a huge drop. huge drop in time, yeah. Huge bump in power, huge drop in time. So yeah, so that should be available now. So check that out. I think you can check it via your app. But okay, guys. The Light Emerging just donated 50 kroners. Thank you so much. That is 5 euros. That is so awesome. You guys are awesome, crazy. And he just has a dancing snowman. So no questions. Okay. So again, guys, I'm just going to remind you, if you want to donate, if you want to support the channel and this live stream, you can do it via the super chat. If you press the super chat, I will answer that question. That will be a prioritized question. But okay, guys, we're going to now hop into it. Today's video topic, the EV6 versus the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Kia EV6, Hyundai Ioniq 5. Why are we comparing these two, first of all? Well, Kia and Hyundai are part of the Hyundai Motor Corporation, or whatever it's called. It's the Hyundai Automotive Group, which also owns Kia. So Kia and Hyundai are sister companies. They have been sister companies for the longest of times, and they platform share. It's kind of like, I don't know, Skoda Volkswagen, Audi Volkswagen, but you know, I don't think Hyundai or Hyundai have been more premium or less premium than Kia. But Kia has been more sporty in later years, and they are both built on the eGMP platform. So the EV6 and the Ioniq 5 are closely related, kind of so closely related that they're like as closely related as something like a Porsche Taycan and an Audi e-tron GT, which are also platform sharing and in the same Volkswagen group. So people may be cross-shopping. The Ioniq 5 was released earlier this year. I tested it back in September or October. And then this week, I just finished testing the EV6. I've had since last Monday till today. Had it for a week. And I thought it was due to do a comparison video because people compare these cars a lot. And I want to give my opinion. I'm probably going to do, you know, a proper YouTube video later on, but I wanted to cover that here on the live stream. And that's probably what we're going to do here on the live stream. We're going to talk more loosely about topics more in general before I make, you know, a proper video, because you guys can also give me input what to put into a video. Like if you have good questions or good information, I will most definitely put that into a video. So also, guys, be free to tell me which one you like the best as we go through the talking points. But the first thing we're going to talk about are exterior looks. Exterior looks. So for you guys who don't know what they look like, we're going to go to the, let's go here, get up the web page here. And then we are going to, no, I'm not going to change this one. Okay. Let's do this one. This is what the EV6 looks like. The Kia EV6 is, yeah, it's a good looking thing here. Let's see if we can get this up here. I'm always failing to do this. There we go. Why won't it? I struggled with this last time. I pre-tested this. How did I? Okay, it doesn't matter, guys. This is what it looks like. This is what the EV6 looks like, and we can go and check out what the Hyundai Ioniq 5 looks like. Let's go to Hyundai's webpage. Hyundai.no, and let's see if, okay. Yeah, so let's go with, okay, let's approve that. So that was not the best picture. Let's see if we can find a picture of the Ioniq 5. There should be several, right? And yeah, it's a bit laggy here. I do apologize, guys. I don't know if there's a better solution for browsing the web in this streaming software. I'm using OBS Studio, and now it's just it's so laggy. But okay, guys, you get the point. The EV6 versus the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Let me know which one you think looks the best. Which one you think looks the best. We're gonna try to get this screen back here now. Okay, let's go ahead and do this and this. There we are. Okay, we're now back, guys. In my opinion, I mean, the Ioniq 5 looks, it's gonna be an iconic car. I think it's a bold move. I think it is one of the best looking EVs on the market. It most definitely is bold. It is special. It is different. But after having seen them on the road for a bit, I don't think it's gonna age very well, and it's not as cool as it initially looked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do still like the look of it. And this is quite funny because I first saw it and I'm like, this is awesome. Applause to you, Hyundai, for, you know, dropping this design. And it is a cool design. I mean, it's much better than, I don't know, ID4. It's much better than Skoda Enyaq. It's better than a lot of EVs and cars out on the market. So kudos to them. And then I saw the EV6 in photos. I didn't think much of it, but in person, the EV6 has really grown on me because it is sleek, it's sporty, it's swoopy, and I think it looks better in the real world and the real life than the Ioniq 5. I just think it looks better. So that is very interesting. So in my opinion, the Ioniq 5 still looks very good, but the Ioniq 5 still looks very good, but the EV6 looks pretty darn nice. And I think in the mid-size electric segment, you know, not talking about the luxury cars, we're talking about the mid-size electric, the ID4 Skoda Enyaq. We're going to put the Audi Q4 e-tron in there also, Mustang Mach-E, Ioniq 5, EV6. Are we missing any cars in that segment? Volvo XC40. All those, you know, those cars are competing in that segment. And I think maybe the EV6 is the best looking. And again, in photos, it's not the best looking. Even in camera, when I film, it's not the best looking. So I've been looking at, when I film these cars, when I do B-roll, I'm standing on the outside and I'm like, oh, that's a good looking thing. And then I do the pan with the camera and I'm like, it doesn't look as good on the screen that it does in the real world. So I think that is very interesting. EV's Tom Paulson, EV6 looks so much better. David Gillette, EV6. Irena, Ioniq 5 by a mile. Altesa Vides, which is more timeless? Oh, that's a good question. Which is more timeless? So I think they're both bold and special and unique in their own way. Like the rear end of the EV6 isn't something I liked in photos, but in the real world it just works. And then you have the front end of the Ioniq 5, which I don't think looks as good as the rear end. But which is more timeless? I don't know. Maybe. I think this. I don't know. That's a hard one. Okay. The Cisco Kid, Ioniq 5. I was really impressed with my demo. Drove last week rear wheel drive. Liked it a lot more than ID4. Of course, I mean, I talked about the ID4 and ID cars in general here on the channel so many times. And if you are not a new viewer here, you guys may know my opinion on the Volkswagen ID4. I mean, it is a cheap, spacious, family electric car, but that's about it. It's cheap and quite nasty on the inside. The exterior styling, though handsome, if you don't get, you know, like a GTX trim or with nice wheels, it's a bit boring and bland. And also the drive is boring and bland. It's not offensive, but it has the worst infotainment system of the past 10 years. It is so bad. Touch capacitive buttons on the steering wheel that are just impossible to know where you're pressing and give you this haptic feedback. No physical buttons, and HVAC controls, you know, your climate controls are not lit, your volume controls are not lit. So when you're sitting there in the dark, half of the year in Norway, it's dark. You can't see where you're pressing. So I don't know, they made some really strange decisions with that car. And the Ioniq 5 and EV6 are in a completely different league. But again, guys, remember that both the Ioniq 5 and EV6 are much more expensive starting price than the ID4. So that is something to note. You can do a poll in the YouTube stream. Okay, one thing at a time. We're going probably, okay, how do I do a poll, guys? Okay, we're gonna do one thing at a time. Finally, I have my camera working, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Battery life, ID4 basher. Okay, we have battery life. My friend Chris from Germany, who has an awesome channel, so shout out to him. Go check him out. He's a German who does EV content in Germany, but in English. He owns a Volkswagen ID3, which I think he likes a lot, and I like the ID3 because at that price point, I don't care too much about the interior. I can live with the infotainment system, but once you bump up that price point and you have the competition you have, it gets worse. But yeah, Chris, I've talked about it. I've been on his live stream talking about how much I don't like the infotainment system and some of the features in the ID4. So yeah, I am the ID4 basher. But Chris, did you drive the EV6 and Ioniq 5? Let me know what you think about those. Irene Soder's ID4 hater. Yes, we can say I'm an ID4 hater, but again, I'm not a hater because I'm a hater. I judge the car on its merits, on its features, and how it works. So I'm not a hater. I'm just reporting it as it is. How is the navigation planning? Jose Lopez, how is the navigation planning, charging stops, etc. in EV6 Ioniq 5? It's non-existent. So I did the exterior and interior tour of the EV6. You'll find that here on the channel. And I misspoke and somebody commented that, and I also apologize, and I pinned that comment so everybody could see where I made a mistake. Because I said it does not have chargers. The EV6 does not have chargers in its navigation system. So let me be clear. There are chargers, but you cannot use them in a route planner. So if I try to, I think this is also in my review that's coming out in 2 days, if you try to navigate somewhere, it's just going to tell you you don't have enough battery to get to your destination. Please find a charging station, and then you have to do it manually. It's not going to do it for you, which is pretty interesting. And then on the other hand, I drove the EQS today. I did the motorway range test, and it seems to be an updated infotainment system from the EQC and also EQA. Those cars may have had this feature, but I didn't see it. It doesn't only have a route planner, but it will, while passing a charger in close vicinity to the map, it will show you the charging speeds and how many are vacant in real time. That is pretty cool. That is some Tesla level, navigation system there. But okay, let's see. So when it comes to at least, so I'm going to give a point to the, we're going to do 1 point to the EV6. How am I going to do this? EV6. We're going to give that 1 point, in my opinion, in the looks department. And then we're going to do the looks on the interior. This is interesting. So let me know again which one you think is better looking on the interior. So for you guys who are not new, who have been following the channel for a while, I love light colored interiors. And I think black interiors can be nice, but mostly are boring. Again, I'm driving the EQS today, which is a pity because it has a black interior. It takes away all the drama, though the ambient lighting in that car is awesome. So once it gets dark, it is pretty cool. But in the daytime, it just doesn't feel as special. It doesn't feel as special, and also the black exterior just hides the line. So you're driving this car that costs in Norway like 1.4 million kroner. It's 140,000 euros, this EQS. Basically the most expensive EV on the market today. And it doesn't feel particularly special because it has a black interior. But that's just me. That is just me. So I'm not a huge fan of black interiors. So the Ioniq 5 I drove had a light colored interior, and I thought that was pretty spectacular, at least visually. And also material wise, it was pretty nice, but we're not going to talk about materials. We're going to talk about looks. We're going to get to interior quality in a bit. Again, in photos, the Ioniq 5 looks pretty darn nice. And again, the EV6 in photos doesn't look anything special. But after spending a week in the Ioniq 5, the EV6, I do apologize to keep mixing those two cars. After spending a week in the EV6, I like the EV6 better. It just works and looks better. It's, yeah, I just prefer it. I don't know if it's just more sporty, if it's just, you know, the Kia steering wheel design, the switches. I don't know what it is, but it is really, I do prefer that. And also Drunken Valley donated 50 kroners. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again. And I'm just going to remind you guys, if you want to donate, if you want to support the channel, there will be a super chat donation button in the button there where you can chat. I will be reading out those questions and guarantee you guys I will be answering them. He asks, what are your top OS infotainment system? Polestar and Tesla stood out to me after that. It feels like a moot discussion. Okay, so I just want to, finish the topic on the interior looks. So interior looks, I again think, in my opinion, that goes to the EV6. But again, guys, it's all my opinion. You guys may have different opinions. And also, guys, we're now at 38 likes. We're going to try to get this stream up to 150 likes. So if you haven't hit that like button down below, please be sure to hit that like button. Thank you very much. But okay, guys. What are your top OS infotainment system? Polestar and Tesla stood out to me. After that, it feels like a moot discussion. I actually agree to a certain degree. So for the longest time, like for the past year, for me, it's been between those two. I rank them about the same. The Android infotainment system in the Polestar 2 and also the Tesla infotainment system. But after I last had, I had a Standard Range Plus now for a few weeks. I borrowed from Marcus B. I went to Bergen. I went back. I've been driving it a lot. And I think it is a bit too complicated and too many layers, too many buttons, too many things happening on. Yes, it is a big screen and it is a clean OS, but there's still too many things happening for it to be as intuitive and as easy and as snappy as the Android infotainment system in the Polestar 2. Like hitting the steering wheel, to warm the steering wheel in the Polestar is hitting the seat control icon and then hitting the heating steering wheel icon. So 1-2 presses, but it's in a logic place. In the Polestar, you had to go to climate, and then you had to hit something on the left side that looked like a heater, and then you could hit the steering wheel. So 3 button presses. Yes, it is one more, but it wasn't as smooth or as laid out. It was like pressing there, and then there, and then there. It should be much easier. And also, like just navigating through some, I found myself like trying to find simple things in the Polestar, in the Tesla, where it was just a little bit more hidden than it was in the Polestar. The Polestar has like 4 menus and that's it. Everything is there. And it may be a little too simple for some people because it isn't as customizable as the Teslas, but it's so easy and intuitive to use. So I think, number 1, Polestar infotainment system, and you also get that, that the 12-inch digital gauge cluster that you don't get. So you get 2 screens, so you can do navigation there, and then you can do, your infotainment and your stats, your sorry guys, your what's it called? Your shared computer, your board computer there. And then you can do your navigation there. Or you can do your navigation there, and then you can do your information there. The the Tesla just has 1 screen. So you can only do it one place. So after that, I think Audi Touch MMI is very simple. I mean, it has the best digital gauge cluster, and also the infotainment screen is logically laid out. And then after that, I think it's a bit of, I would probably put the MBUX, though it is a bit, it's really overwhelming and you can customize too much. But once it has really steep learning curve, but once you get used to it, I think it's easy enough to use. But then after that, it's hard to rank them. I'll put the ID car infotainment systems at the bottom. So, okay. But okay, guys, so we've done looks exterior, 1.2 the EV6. We've done looks interior, 1.2 the EV6. And then we're going to do the practicality of the interior. So I think this is the easy decision. This goes to the Ioniq 5 because it has the center console. You can adjust forwards and backwards. And it also has not only reclining rear seats, you can also move them in the track. So you can move them forwards or backwards. In the EV6 I had, you could only do the reclining. You cannot, move them forwards and backwards, and you can't do anything with the center console. And also the trunk is bigger, 520 or 30 liters versus 490 in the EV6. So I think that point goes to the Ioniq 5. It's just more practical. It's that simple. And then interior quality. And again, I've spent extensive time in both these cars. I think the Ioniq 5 just has the upper hand on interior materials and also the switchgear. The stalks, the gear selector on the steering wheel, the release handle for the doors, the window switches, it just feels and looks more premium, the Ioniq 5. It really feels more like an Audi compared to a Volkswagen than it does like a Volkswagen compared to a Skoda. There is a difference in interior quality. The EV6 is fine enough. It's not really bad, but it does some cheap switchgear. The gear selector just feels cheap. It's almost as bad as the one you have in the Mustang Mach-E. And just some of the switchgear, steering wheel stalks and stuff like that, the stalks behind the steering wheel just doesn't feel as nice. And also some of the interior plastics don't feel as nice as they do in the Ioniq 5. So I think that also goes to the Ioniq 5. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you have driven these two, we're talking about exterior looks, interior looks, practicality, and now interior quality. So now it's 2 for 2 for these cars. Mats Pedersen, thank you so much for the donation. 22 kroners, that is awesome. Beste bilen for en ung gutt som liker tech. Okay, he's asking in Norwegian, best car for a young guy who likes tech. I mean, it has to be the Polestar 2 or a Tesla. Polestar 2 or Tesla. I mean, when it comes to tech, they are awesome. Those infotainment systems are the best, as we just talked about. So if you like tech, those cars are pretty awesome. Again, I prefer the Polestar 2 because it has an awesome infotainment system that is arguably the best in the business. It also has a digital gauge cluster, and it has physical controls on the steering wheel for all of your cruise control, your adaptive cruise control, and audio settings, which I do appreciate. Physical buttons. And then it has maybe the best secondary switchgear setup, your stocks behind the steering wheel, your windshield wipers, all of that is so logically and easy laid out. On top of that, you have a gear selector in the middle of the car, a center tunnel, that just works. It's double click to go to reverse and double click, not even double click, it's like to go to reverse and then to go to drive. And it works immediately. You sit in the car goes on, and you can just hit that and it reacts immediately. No other car, not even Tesla, react this quickly. And then in front of that, you have a volume knob. And then, this is the deal breaker. Voice commands. Google Assistant built in to the Polestar 2. So for me, it's I mean, when I think about it and I speak loudly about it now, it's a no-brainer. It is single-handed the best infotainment system on the market with its secondary and primary controls. That's why I like it so much. Guys, we have 115 people watching. That is so awesome. We're at 57 likes, so we're now 93 likes away from 150 likes, guys. So hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button. And guys, thank you so much for joining. If you're new here, my name is Chris. I have this channel which is dedicated to testing EVs. We're doing a live stream now. This is called the Real EV Talk, and the point of this live stream is for me and you guys to discuss and talk about real EVs and do real talk about EVs. Okay, guys, let's see if we have any interesting questions that we want to... Kona has a T-brake. Kona has the same 10.25 display as the EV6 and Ioniq 5, but a bit much cheaper to buy, smaller battery, but much more efficient. The EV6 has a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster and infotainment system. That's what it said, at least in the specs I got with the car from Kia. It may be wrong, but I'm going by that. So I think also the Ioniq 5 has the same. But yeah, sure, it's a cheaper car, more efficient, but it's also a much smaller car. I mean, it's like you're comparing a Volkswagen Passat to a Volkswagen Golf. The Golf's going to be more efficient. It's as simple as that. Okay, let's see if we have any other interesting questions. The light emerging. Tesla, no doubt, yes. I don't know what you're answering. Let's see. People are discussing amongst themselves. The light emerging Polestar is awesome too, but Tesla will soon have a new chip from AMD soon and will be a lot faster. I don't think neither the Polestar infotainment system or the Tesla infotainment system need any speed updates. By this point in time, it's just, having the software, having, the layout that is logic to use and easy to use. And remember, guys, I took a Polestar 2 to Italy and back in 5 days. I drove that car 5,000 kilometers in 5 days, going VMAX on a motorway, and at no point in time was I fiddling with anything to do simple controls because it's so easy. I can't emphasize that enough. It's so good. It's so good. And it's just going to go up from now. Okay, back to the EV6 Ioniq. I know you guys like to talk about Polestar and Tesla. I like to talk about Polestar and Tesla too. They may just be one of the two EVs I have the most experience with. I've driven Teslas a lot now in the past year and also Polestars. So we're going to get back to the EV6 versus Ioniq. Comfort. Okay, this is an interesting one. So the Ioniq 5 has one of the most comfortable suspension setups in any car. So when it comes to suspension comfort and quietness, Ioniq 5 hands down. With that being said, the EV6 suspension is tauter, firmer, but it's by no means uncomfortable. So usually I'm a huge comfort guy. You guys know I like to talk about comfort and suspension tuning in as much detail as possible. That's because I live here in Oslo, and in Oslo the roads are terrible. City roads in Oslo, broken pavement, tram lines, cobblestone covered streets, broken pavement. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So having a nice suspension tuning really makes your life easier. And the Ioniq 5 has nicer suspension than the EV6, but I don't mind the EV6's suspension at all. Because the seats in the EV6 for my body, for my taste, my body size and shape, just works better. I had issues with the seats in the Ioniq 5. I just found them uncomfortable. The lumbar support was like somebody poking me with a pen in the back. I have no issues with the EV6's seat. So I'm going to tell you guys this, and this is something I'm probably going to start saying much more in the future. Take what I say with a grain of salt. This is my personal opinion. I'm not a robot. So go out, test drive the EV you're looking for, and I mean, if you can, loan one from like one day to the other, do a long trip to really test the seats, because if you like everything else and then you're going to get back pains or you're not going to sit comfortable, it's a real waste spending all of that money. So, I don't know, this is a tie. No points to anybody because EV6 has better seats, but Ioniq 5 has better comfort. But I think they're both as quiet. But they're both comfortable though. Okay. Then we have driving dynamics. And this is also very interesting because both have one of the most lifeless steering racks in, it's probably the same steering rack, but the steering in both of those cars are no feedback, feel completely artificial, and are overboosted. They just feel fake as fake. I mean, I used to play Gran Turismo 3 on the PlayStation 2 back in the early 2000s when I was a teenager, and the steering feel in Gran Turismo 3 in the PlayStation 2 with force feedback was much better than these EVs. So none of them get any points for steering. But the EV6 is more sporty, more firmly set up. Is it more fun? A bit. I mean, it's really close, and the EV6 just wins it by the smallest margin. So I'm going to give that to the EV6. But none of them are sporty, none of them are particularly fun, but the EV6 just has the small edge. T-brake, EV6 has much better driving position. Ioniq 5 feels like a van seating. Yeah, I agree. Seating position in EV6 is much better. Mika Lundqvist, looks Ioniq 5, interior EV6, but it's rather small if you are over 180 centimeters. My head were far close to the roof and other things. Yeah, I think EV6 definitely is a bit, I think it's like maybe almost 10 centimeters shorter, not as tall. It definitely feels much more cramped inside. MadMart was reading that spring update would bring wireless. No, are we talking about wireless Apple CarPlay in EV6? Yeah, I think that is cabled. Wireless CarPlay is awesome. I use that all the time. Oh, Carl Henrik Lange has a good question. What is the best stereo, EV6 and Ioniq 5? So, yeah, we're gonna put that as a category here. Stereo. I forgot that. Stereo. That's a new category. Thank you so much, Henrik Lange. That's something I'm gonna put into the YouTube video I'm gonna make about the comparison. Guys. Okay, sorry. I was looking at here. It's just the lag. I thought the frame was freezing. So the upgraded stereo, the top tier stereo in the Ioniq 5 is the Bose sound system, and the top sound system in the EV6 is branded Meridian. Bose, okay, so just background, I've had two Volvo XC90s, which has the Bowers & Wilkins sound system as their top tier audio. So this is my experience and where I'm coming from, just to let you guys know that I've had some of the best audio systems in any car. The interior of the Volvo XC90, the current generation, which came out in 2015, was designed around the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. They made the interior in collaboration with Bowers & Wilkins, and that is the best sounding sound system I've ever tested in any car. And if you go to a YouTube channel called Savage Geese, an awesome YouTuber, he is one of the few who does instrumented testing of sound systems in cars, and he can attest to that. I'm only, my experience, this is only anecdotal evidence, but in his tests, they agree with me. It's one of the best. I mean, it beats out systems that cost, it's like 35,000 kroners, 3,500 euros. It beats out systems in other premium cars that cost 2 and 3 times as much. It's an awesome sound system. And I'm currently now driving the EQS with the Burmeister surround system, and I haven't checked the spec sheet if that's 1 tier up or 2 tiers, but it doesn't hold a candle to the XC90s. I hope this is not the most expensive, because if it is, it's not impressive. It's okay, but it's not impressive. So I've had 2 XC90s. I also had Bang & Olufsen in my e-tron 55, which was impressive, but again, not as impressive as the Bowers & Wilkins. So take that with a grain of salt and as information when I answer this question, because I'm going to go harsh here. Ioniq 5, that Bose sound system does not deserve the Bose badge at all. It may be the worst premium badged sound system I've ever heard, outside of the Bang & Olufsen in the Audi A4 B9, which is just terrible. It doesn't play loud. You get to a certain point, it's like, oh, this is nice, and you want a little bit more sound, it won't go louder. And going at motorway speed, that is a huge issue, because I like listening to music loud. And at the volume it plays, it's okay. If you're coming from a non-branded, if you're coming from a lesser car, you're probably going to be impressed. But compared to the badge, it being Bose, no. It's non-deserving of that badging. It doesn't feel like it has any power behind it. And for people who understand audio, I mean, it's an upgrade over something that is a simple and bare bones basic sound system, but it just lacks any power. Like when you turn off the volume, it's like, okay, it's louder, but there's no occasion or sensation to the music. So I didn't have the highest expectations when I went into the EV6 branded Meridian. Bose is, often not your top tier sound system. Like if you go to the Porsche Taycan, it's one level up and then you get the Burmester. In most cars, it's like one tier up, and then you can really go for an upgrade. Meridian, though, that's a premium sound system. That's what you get in Land Rovers and in Jaguars, and from the ones I've heard, they are freaking awesome. This, though, I don't know, it's probably a little bit better than the Bose in the EV6. But again, I would have to do a back-to-back test, but I do believe it's a little bit better. But yeah, so I'm gonna give the point to the EV6. It's a little bit better, but it's non-deserving of that Meridian badge. Non-deserving of that Meridian badge. Again, it lacks any power behind. Like it doesn't have enough watts, not enough amps to power that sound system. Okay, so that is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, I hope that answers your question. And I just want to, so we can do some rankings now. I think the B&O sound system in the Mustang Mach-E is the best sound system in the mid-size electric luxury segment, mid-size electric segment, mid-size electric SUV segment, not luxury. B&O in the Mach-E. That is an awesome sound system. And when I hopped out of my e-tron 55 and into that, I was like, yeah, it's not as good, it's not as powerful, but it's darn close. And it's a car that costs a lot less. So that's an impressive sound system. And also the Sonos sound system in the Q4 e-tron is pretty good also. So I'm going to rank those two systems at the top, and they outclass the Bose in the Ioniq 5 and the Meridian in the EV6. Outclass them. It's not it's not even a competition. Okay, let's see. Next point is range. Range. And this is always an interesting topic because I do these motorway range tests, which are as scientific as I'm able to do them at this point in time. So maybe in the future we'll be able to do, I don't know, scientific testing. I'm gonna buy this indoor, I don't know, track where we can do everything with the same, you know, ambient temperature, same humidity level, same, I don't know. Of course not, guys. I'm just kidding. But always when I do them, people are like, "Oh, why did you get so bad range? You're doing it wrong." I'm doing it wrong. I'm driving the car on the cruise control. I'm measuring the average speed in, like, measured average speed. And then the variables are the weather, the wind, the temperature. Like, the results are the results. I'm not doing anything that I can't do. Putting the cars into their most efficient mode, going 10 kilometers above the speed limit on the speedometer, which works out to around 111 or 112 or 113 kilometers an hour. The difference between the slowest and the fastest runs are 2 kilometers an hour, which should be less than, that should be less than 2% difference going at that speed. So, again, take them with a grain of salt, but it's as close to being a replicatable test that I can do. So, when I got better range out of the EV6 long range all-wheel drive in the cold than I did with the Ioniq 5 long range all-wheel drive in mild temperatures, the internet went crazy. People were like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong. How are you able to get better range? Blah, blah, blah." So I think it's fun. I think it's interesting that people are like, "You're doing it wrong." And then people started referring to Björn, Tesla Björn, my friend Björn's tests. It's like he got different results, and I'm like, he got more range in the Ioniq 5 because he did that test when it was 20 degrees, and when he did the test in the EV6, it was 0 degrees. You cannot compare results done in 20 degrees Celsius with results done in 0 degrees Celsius. You can maybe compare 5 degrees apart. So if a test was done at 20 degrees and another at 15 degrees, you're still going to have to take that temperature difference into account. But 20 degrees apart, no. I'm sorry, guys. Even in a fossil car, you cannot compare the consumption. And also people are like, people are commenting like, oh, I did a run, I drove like 200 kilometers an hour and I got 15.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. People have a lot of anecdotes. People write a lot of comments about results people get, which don't seem to be real at all. It's just hearsay. I'm measuring the time and the speed so you guys can get the information and compare them as closely as possible. Somebody commenting that, yeah, I did a run, but I have no data, I have no video evidence, I have no nothing. It's just hearsay, it's just anecdote. That doesn't help anybody. So please guys, just think about that before you comment. I'm not saying that anybody of you, because I mean, we're 100 people watching the stream now, and some of these videos get like 40, 50, 60,000 views from people around the world. So guys, we're at 77 likes. We're 23 likes away from 100. Let's get to 100 and then let's get to 150. So we're 122 people watching. Thank you so much. Awesome. We have so far gotten 220 kroners in donations, super chat. If you want to ask a question and you want to support the channel, hit that super chat button down below. Donate any amount of money you want and I'll most guaranteed answer your question. So range, the EV6 long range has a bigger battery pack. It's about 5 kilowatt hours bigger, but the test I've done shows that the EV6 is more efficient than the Ioniq 5. So that point goes to the EV6. So the score so far is 5 points to the EV6 and 2 points to the Ioniq 5. And again, guys, this is just my opinion. If you disagree, that is awesome. We do value things differently, but we're trying to do this objectively based on my opinion. So let's see, you lose range with cruise control. Dave Gillette says, how do you lose range with cruise control? How? Why do people say that? How do you lose range? Please explain to me how you lose range with cruise control, because I do not believe that for a second. How is that possible? You're letting the computer drive for you instead. I would argue that using cruise control, you're going to get more range because the car can drive better than you, more efficiently than what you're able to do. Okay, let's see if we have any interesting questions here. Okay. Irene Sirius stereo, very important to me, so I hope I answered your question, Irena. Pierre Simonsen to Dave Gillette, I think it is opposite. Yeah, I do think it's also opposite, that driving with cruise control gives you more range, not less range. Okay, guys, how long have we been going now? Where is the timer? Where is the timer? The timer. Why can't I see it here? That's, yeah, 52 minutes. There we go. I think we're gonna go like 1.5 hours. Yes. Okay. Okay, next point is charging. So has there been an update now, guys? Let me know. Has the Ioniq 5 people have been talking about the Ioniq 5 getting an update, because I know that the peak charging speed of the EV6 is 239, but when I tested the Ioniq 5 back in September, October, it was 224. Has the Ioniq 5 gotten an update? Or is it just because the EV6 has the bigger battery pack, so charging at like 3C gives it 200 and, yeah, that makes sense, 3C, or just a little bit less than 3C gives it 239 kilowatts of charging speed. But other than that, I mean, they kind of like Colgate in the same way. I'm not able to get their charging speed reliable while driving, even if it's like 10-15 degrees as I did with the Ioniq 5. And now that it is cold, these cars seem to be Colgating. So yeah, so for me it's like, yeah, bigger battery. Okay, so you've gotten a bigger battery in the Ioniq 5. How big is the battery in the Ioniq 5 long range all-wheel drive? Is it now the same size, 77.4 kilowatt hours net capacity as the EV6? Okay, the Cisco Kid. Chris, I agree. Was the main reason I did not spend money for the ultimate version of the Ioniq 5 in Canada. Saved the money and went for the long range rear-wheel drive. Don't need the other features. Wanted cloth seats. Are you agreeing on the stereo? Jesper Hanmassen owns Bang & Olufsen Automotive and Samsung owns Harman. Harman owns Barnes & Wilkins Automotive and Samsung. Yeah. So the thing about these stereos in the automotive world is that a lot of stereos are made by Harman or Samsung, and they are just licensing the name of the brand. So like the Bose in the Ioniq 5 is not made by Bose. The Meridian in the EV6 is probably not made by Kia either. Most likely they are the same systems, maybe made by Harman, maybe made by Samsung or any other third-party company. And then they license the badging. That's why there's such a huge difference in, I don't know, the Bose sound system in the Ioniq 5 and Bose in the Porsche Taycan, Cross Turismo or just normal Taycan. It's a night and day difference. Yes, the Porsche is twice the price, but the stereo also is like twice as good and should not, being the same brand, should not be that much better, right? Let's see. Can anybody answer the, is it 78 kilowatt hours? T-Break says 78. 78 kilowatt hours, is that the battery pack size of the Ioniq 5 now? Can anybody confirm? Okay. We're gonna leave that open until then, because if, when it comes to charging, if the EV6 charges at 239 and then the Ioniq 5 only at 220 or 225, that point's going to the EV6. So if you want an Ioniq 5 and can answer that, you want to defend your car now you have the chance. Okay guys, we're now at 85 likes. 15 more likes now to get us to 100 likes, and then we'll try to get to 150 likes. And then lastly, we have price. So the Ioniq 5, at least these are Norwegian prices, and for my, foreign viewers, I mean for people from other places, €1 is about 10 Norwegian kroner. So when I say a Norwegian price, you just divide it by 10. It's super easy. So when I say the EV6 starts at 420,000 kroners, that is 42,000 euros. And it's roughly also $42,000, but it actually may be a little bit more, maybe 43 or 44, but it's about, dividing it by 10. And then if you want to go to pounds, it's the other way, because it's going to be maybe a little bit less. So 420,000 kroner is maybe going to be like 40 or 39,000 pounds. But it is roughly divided by 10, and then you're in the ballpark. But going to euros and to dollars and to British pounds, you're gonna be a few thousand one or the other way. So in Norway, and of course Norway has one of the best EV prices in the world because we have no VAT, no value added tax, which is like between 15 and 25% across Europe at least, depending on the country. Bumps and moves. Ioniq 5 is 72.6, so it has not gotten a software update for a bigger battery pack. Does that mean the peak charging speed is also 220 or 225 kilowatts? Let me know, bumps and moves. Ashland, also all other countries have tax on EVs. No, not all countries. Like the US generally have some sales tax, but not in all states. Some states don't have sales tax at all in the United States. Ioniq 5 in Canada is 77.4, has 2 additional battery packs. Yeah, 2 additional cells. Okay, so we have, people do not agree here. So this is Kid. Does Hyundai claim the same peak charging speed? That makes sense, 239 kilowatts, right? It should. So in Norway, the EV6 with the rear wheel drive, rear-wheel drive small battery pack starts at 420,000 kroners, and the Ioniq 5 starts at 475. But that has the rear-wheel drive and the bigger battery pack, if I'm remembering correct. So EV6 starts cheaper, but you get less equipment, you get a smaller battery pack. So if you start comparing them, like price-wise, they are about the same. If you go for the long-range all-wheel drive version in both, they're both going to be around 530,000 kroners. And I think for that price point, fully spec'd, it's a really good deal. EV6, the one I'm driving now, the one I drove GT line with the big battery pack, all-wheel drive, that range, that car with all the kit, even though, I'm complaining about some of the stuff like the Meridian sound system, it's still a great deal. Fully spec'd, 530,000 kroners, 53,000 euros, $55,000, $56,000, or about 50,000 British pounds. That is a good deal. That's a good deal. So they're both gonna get points. So it's, I mean, there wasn't the tiebreaker here because, I mean, even though if we gave one of the points for charging and battery pack size to the Ioniq 5, the EV6 still wins. So that's why I rate the EV6 better than the Ioniq 5. But again, that's based on my personal preference. We're talking about exterior looks, which is, you know, objective. We're talking about interior looks, which is also objective. We're talking about interior practicality, which, I mean, they're pretty similar. And also interior quality. And people may not care. People drive ID4s and like think the interior is awesome. So kudos to those people. I'm not one of those people. If you think that, that's cool for you. If you don't care, I mean, if you don't care, you don't care. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. Stereo, the EV6 just edges it out, and its range is going to be, I mean, range goes to the EV6, and then charging is going to be about the same. Yeah, Dave Gillette, 54,000 pounds in the UK. 54,000? Yeah, of course, I'm forgetting VAT. VAT. Sorry, guys, I'm forgetting VAT. Bumps and Moves. Data sheet on the Ioniq 5 in Norway says 72.6. I don't know if Canada gets bigger. Interesting. Interesting. Philip, get more luxury stuff with EV6 if you compare with ID4, etc. Get more. Yeah, you do get more luxury stuff, but it's also more expensive. So in my opinion, EV6 is a better car, a better buy for me at least. You may disagree. Either way, they're both awesome. I mean, you're not, people have been thinking that, or people say like, I hate the Ioniq 5 because I don't like the seats and I had issues with, I had thermal throttling issues with the car I had. Björn tested the same car, had the same issues. People again like, you're doing it wrong. Are we both doing it wrong? No. So it seems like the, you know, I talked to the EV6. I talked to the press guy at Kia today. Just briefly went because the importer of Mercedes and Kia are the same company, Bertelostad, so they have the press car fleet the same place. So when I delivered the EV6, it was the same place where I picked up the EQS. So I talked briefly to the guy, and he said there's an issue with battery pack heat management, where once the first cells get the heat and going, and the last cells get charging, the first cells overheat. So they're not able to do that proper managing now in the cold. That's why you're only getting that 200 kilowatt peak speed now in cold, even though the battery pack is warm enough. That's what he told me. But they're working on a fix. So if you have heard that, let me know also in the comment section down below. And also if you've driven any of these cars, EV6 or Ioniq 5, now in the cold, like between let's say between -10 and +5 degrees Celsius outside, and have you gotten close to the peak charging speed, or are you peaking at 200 kilowatts? Because there seems to be how they manage the heat and the battery pack heater. Irene Ceres, Chris Reef, Ioniq 5 liter. Oh, it's awesome, guys. Keep him coming. Keep him coming. P.F. Simonson, we're going to answer a few questions now. The chat today, you are awesome. Chat today is awesome. It's so cool. Guys, we're only 11 likes away from 89 likes. Why aren't we at 100 likes yet? Come on, get us to 100. Okay, P.F. Simonson, is your e-tron 50 sold yet? It was e-tron 55, so the big battery pack version 1. And yes, it sold a month and a half ago. I lost a lot of money on that car. So the person who got that car got a very good deal. So yes, it is sold. I have my e-tron GT up for sale now at markusbil.no. If you guys are looking for an e-tron GT and want to purchase one before January, I'm going to give you guys a great deal. And if you buy one, I'm going to deliver it to you personally with, I don't know, a box of chocolate. So if you're looking, seriously guys, if you're looking for an e-tron GT, or if you have a friend, you can get mine. You're gonna probably get the best deal in Norway now, because I have my Cross Turismo coming in not very long. I have to get rid of my e-tron GT. Okay, let's see. Philip says, rumors says that next year Ioniq 5 gets bigger battery. So the story about the battery pack is the EV6 and the Ioniq 5 have the same battery pack, but the EV6 has more cells unlocked, to use that term. more cells usable, which gives it that 5 extra kilowatt hours. And that's why it also gets faster charging speed. So just a rundown on how charging speed works. And again, I'm not an expert. Björn, my friend Björn, Tesla Björn, has explained this to me. If you want the technical stuff, you know, the deep dive into EVs, go to Björn's channel. He probably has the best channel on deep diving into the technicalities of EVs. And also Kyle, my friend from Out of Spec Reviews, also explains things really good and really well. I've learned so much from those two guys. I'm like, I'll ring up here and ask him a question, and he'll like, okay, answered it. I'm like, okay, I've been struggling with this for weeks. You now answered it so easily. And also Kyle also. So the way it works, so in theory, say you have a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack, 50 kilowatt hour. Don't think about it's divided into all of these cells. You just have a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack. So if you're going to charge at 1C, you're charging at 50 kilowatts. If you're charging at 2C, that is 100 kilowatts. And if you're charging at 3C, that is 150 kilowatts. This is just a rule of thumb. So, you know, a normal battery pack will charge at maybe 1C, like at 50 kilowatts. A good battery pack will charge at 2C. That's an awesome battery pack. And an extremely good battery pack will charge at 3C. We don't see 50 kilowatt hour battery packs charging at 150 kilowatts because that probably isn't possible with today's technology without really damaging the battery, or the batteries will be so expensive that it will outprice the car. That's why probably you have to go to EVs like Audi e-tron GT and Porsche Taycan to get, you know, 3C of charging. Those batteries charge at 3C. Like e-tron GT, 86 kilowatt hour peak capacity, net capacity, charges at more, that's more than 3C, 86. It charges like 270 kilowatts. That's more than 3C, right? 270 divided by 86. Yes, charging at 3.1C. That is insane. But remember, guys, a lot of that money in that car probably goes towards the battery pack and making that possible. Of course, we're talking about net capacity versus, you know, gross capacity, and C rating usually works for gross capacity because net capacity can vary, and in a way that, you know, these manufacturers get a lot of charging speed out of a battery pack is just to make less capacity available, right? But yeah, I think that also goes against my point, because maybe you can unlock cells to go. I don't know. My point was going to be that the EV6 charges at 239 versus 224 because it has more capacity unlocked. So maybe it has to do with capacity. Again, I'm not an expert, rule of thumbs, but it correlates to the battery capacity. And that's why also, like when you are at 90%, no batteries charge quickly because you don't have that. Yeah, it has to do with available battery capacity. It has to do, but it has to do because it has to do with the pack voltage and stuff like that. I'm not going to get too technical, but that's how it works. So I think that the EV6 charges at 239, that 15 kilowatt faster because it has more capacity unlocked. So once that Ioniq 5 gets that upgrade, it's going to charge faster. But again, guys, all of these manufacturers are, you know, experimenting. They are learning and doing beta testing in the field now. Like the Mustang Mach-E, which has this 99 kilowatt hour gross battery pack with 88 kilowatt hours, you know, available capacity, only charges at 150 kilowatts for like 2 minutes, and then drops down to like 115 kilowatts. So something is going on there. Is it the battery management software? Aren't they able, the technicians, the engineers, to work this out? We don't know. Is it the actual battery pack that they have, you know, gone for a cheaper battery pack where they have less flexibility and options? This is very interesting, guys. I went to school to become like a car mechanic or like an engineer. I didn't, you know, finish those degrees, but I took the background, like 2 years in school for that. And of course I went to school, like, this was like mid 2000s, so 16 years ago. But you know, EVs weren't on the map at all. So I have, you know, a quite technical understanding of how a combustion engine works, how a diesel engine works, stuff like that. I also worked for a car company where we tuned cars. So, you know, like turbo setup, superchargers, you know, I know how the inner workings of a combustion engine car works pretty in detail. I could, you know, probably have more, you know, knowledge because of my education and also because I worked with it than most people out there. But EVs, and this is just a brand new field. I find it so exciting, and like I'm finding out all the time how limited I am in you know, knowledge here. So it's just really, really interesting. Okay, guys, so we are now 100 people watching the stream. A few have dropped out. We're also only, because it's probably getting late. What time is it now? Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock in the evening, guys. We started a little bit late because my daughter's now sleeping in that room there. I told you guys that I have my daughter every other week, and I usually do. And I mixed up the days because of Christmas. We've scheduled around a little bit. So I have my daughter one more day, and then she's going to her mother's place tomorrow. But that means I had to put her to bed before I could live stream, so I do apologize, guys. So again, if you are new here, if you're just hopping into the stream, my name is Chris. I have this channel dedicated to testing EVs. We do range tests, charging tests. We drive EVs down to 0% to see what happens, how far can you go on a full charge of battery. I do reviews and all types of testing with EVs. So if you like EV content, please be sure to drop a like on this video, and also consider subscribing to this channel and hitting that notification bell. And also, guys, if you are an avid viewer, if you watched videos here for a while, hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free, and if you don't like the content here, if you don't want to subscribe, you can change your mind at a later point in time. Don't do that though, but you can. And there we go, Arslan, 100 Swedish kroners. Thank you so much. That is so awesome, guys. You guys have now donated 319 kroners. That is more than the last time we streamed here. So thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. It's really motivating. Okay. Arslan says, I'm looking for a new car, an EV. I drive an Audi A5 45 TFSI 2020 day. Can't find anything comparable. I really love e-tron GT, but it's expensive. Do you have any other recommendations? So how much is that car in Sweden? A5 45 TFSI. Is that the 2-liter TFSI with... No, that's the one... Is that the 1.4 with 170 or 180 horsepower? Arslan, is that it? Or is that the 2-liter with 200 horsepower? I had an A4 1.4 TFSI 150 horsepower. I think that is maybe... Or is it 150 horsepower? I'm not sure. You have to let me know. Do you have also the DSG? I mean, ooh, recommendations. So you're not gonna get anything. BMW i4. BMW i4. BMW i4. It's the fastback like the A5. If that's in your price range, BMW i4. Oh, it's the 2-liter 245 horsepower. Yeah, BMW i4. BMW i4. I don't know what that costs in Sweden, that A5 with some spec. I would imagine it's like maybe like 500, 550. How much is an i4, the entry-level version, rear-wheel drive, smallest battery pack? I think that's going to be your... It's like size-wise, it's the exact same size. Body style-wise, 5-door fastback. Yeah. Yeah, and also 1.2 million for an e-tron GT in Sweden. Yeah, I mean, that's twice the price. Of course, you can't compare those two cars. I totally understand that. That's like, people keep saying like, if you can afford a car for 700,000, you can buy one for 800,000. No, your budget is your budget. Like, if 700 is your upper budget, going 100,000 or 10,000 euros above your budget is not, that logic does not make sense. I don't know why people say that. So, like, I totally understand. If you're going to spend 600,000 kroners on a car and then just doubling that, yeah, most people can't afford that. That is insane. BMW i4, I think, is your best bet. Also EV6. Take a look at the Kia EV6 because it's more of a big station wagon than it is a small SUV. I think that is pretty cool. Those two cars. I would look at those two cars. And again, Mikael Lundqvist, 55 Swedish kroners. Thank you so much. Mikael, and no question at all. I do appreciate it, guys. You are also, and we are now at 107 likes. We are 43 likes away from our goal at 150 likes. So, guys, hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button. And also, if you want to ask a question, you want to support the channel, like Ashlan, like Mikael, you can donate to Super Chat. You can ask a question, and I will most definitely answer that question. Peace, thank you so much. Peace. 100 Swedish kroners. The Swedes are now winning this donation game. What happened to my Norwegian viewers? You guys are, it's so cool. I do appreciate it, guys. You guys are so awesome. Okay, peace. I love your videos. Waiting for my EV6. Also ordered OBD and would be great with a review how you use the app. Okay, so people, when I first started testing EVs, I'm just gonna have a sip here. When I first started testing EVs about a year ago, people were like, you have to get an OBD device, you have to get an OBD device. And for the longest time, I was thinking of getting an OBD device. But Björn, Tesla Björn, my friend Björn, already does OBD testing. And also he's much more knowledgeable. As I said like 10 minutes ago, I ask him questions and, you know, get knowledge from him. So it wouldn't make much sense for me to do what Björn does so well and not do it as well. And also, I since I'm doing a lot of the same things Björn is doing, I want to do things differently. As you guys can see, we have differences in our videos. I have a little bit more, you know, production, more music, more that type of style, more vlog style maybe in some of my videos. And he goes more into the technical stuff. So that fits him. That is what he does awesome. And he is one of the very best out there on YouTube at this, you know, the technical stuff and the reviews he does. And he's also built an audience around that. I want to go a little bit this way where my videos are a bit more mainstream, more layman, where more people can, you know, understand, maybe more for people who are new to EVs, where I don't want to get too technical. And also, I'm really into materials. Like, I talk about interior materials a lot. I talk about exterior styling. And again, this is also reflected on, if you take the cars Björn buys, Teslas, like, is probably the most logical choice, the best measured, instrumented measured choice you can do purchasing an EV. I'm different. I care more about, you know, how the interior smells, what the door materials feels like, what types of leathers, what the car looks like, how it appeals to me on an emotional level. So, you know, this OBD instrumented testing in that way is a little bit too far that way for what I do on the channel. I'm not saying I'm not going to do that in the future, but as things are now, I like the direction I'm moving into. I talk, you know, a lot about ride quality. I talk a lot about comfort, quietness, and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe in the future, but yeah. So but it would be cool. I do appreciate the donation, but I don't think I'm gonna leave it to the experts. Okay, guys, so we did the Ioniq 5 EV6. Do you guys agree with me? Let me know now. EV6 versus Ioniq 5. And guys, we're at 117 likes now. We're 100 people watching the stream. We are now 33 likes away from 150 likes. That is so awesome. I think we're going to do maybe 15 minutes more. We're going to do 1.5 hours, and then we're going to end the stream. Can we get to 115 likes before we end the stream? Hopefully. Let's see. PSMS AQS also same price as e-tron GT. Seems strange, but I don't know the spec. EQS, I don't know the EQS. Yeah, but they're totally different cars. Again, I own an e-tron GT. Done 10,000 kilometers in it. I haven't driven it in a while because it's not sold yet. So I'm thinking about maybe after New Year's doing a few more videos before getting rid of it. EQS is a completely different beast. EQS is awesome. EQS is basically the electric S-Class. And again, guys, I have all those videos coming out. The first video is coming out later this week. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna drop a video on Christmas Eve. Maybe on Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's gonna drop, so you guys have videos to watch in Christmas. Philip, how about review of the EV6 app? So I didn't connect the app. the car's gone back to Kia, so yeah, I did not have time this week, and also setting up the apps is not something I always do. The Cisco kit, the 77.4 Ioniq is rated at 488 kilometers of range, the EV6 520. EV6, according to the sheets I was given, has rear all-wheel drive, at least has 484 kilometers of WLTP range. Same power outputs as all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. EV6 GT line is not the one to come out with the fire. No, that's the GT, which should come in the spring. Oh, I can't wait for that car. That's going to be an awesome car. Mika Lundqvist, BMW i4 looks great, but I think they already are up the 1-year delivery away. Ooh, so yeah. The world's a strange place now with all of these long wait lists, right? Mika Lundqvist, I would buy Ioniq 5 of these two only for the looks. I totally get that. I think the Ioniq 5 looks awesome, and but I just think the EV6 looks even better. Bumps and Moves, have you sold the e-tron 55 and GT? No, I sold the e-tron 55. e-tron GT is still for sale. So again, if you want to get a good deal, hit me up, hit Marcus Beal up. I'm gonna give you the deal of the year because I have my e-tron and my Cross Turismo coming soon. So we're at 123 likes. We're almost at 150 likes. We're 105 viewers. So that is pretty awesome. GT in fall, not spring. But Terrence, the press guy from Kia told me spring. Wait, you know what he said? He told me pre-production test cars in spring. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're hopefully gonna get some pre-production test cars in spring, and then deliveries will happen in the fall. Irena, it will be interesting to see how all the different EVs hold up over time. The Teslas look like wrecks after some years. Hundreds of Teslas for sale here and nobody wants them. Yeah, so that's interesting. So on the Norwegian used car market, these EVs seem to be holding up very well. What you are talking about, Irena, here, I think is more to the point of interior quality, the quality of the car, nothing to do with, the actual underpinnings, the actual battery tech. But yeah, of course, you have degradation and stuff like that. But I think it's just a new world as tech is going to get better and better and better. These cars are just going to get better and better and better. And we're going to get more range. Like the EQS I drove today. I did the motorway range test. I'm not going to reveal the number, but we did the test in the coldest conditions we have done, -3 degrees today. And we easily beat out the number one, the board leader, the e-tron GT, which was done in summertime today. So these EVs are getting better and better and better. And of course, guys, we're talking about the EQS 580 Formatic, which costs like 1.4 million with kit. It's probably the most expensive EV on the market. Well, maybe the Lucid Air is more expensive, but it's not here yet. So yeah. Kodsos, I bought an Ioniq 5 that will be collecting in January. I hope I made the right decision. Of course, I mean, Ioniq 5 is an awesome car. For me, the issues was the thermal throttling. So the specific issues I had was after connecting to a fast charger, HPC charger, charging at 220 kilowatts, going out on the motorway, I only had like 20 or 30% power. So going in the 110 zone, or in other countries, 120, 130, or on the Autobahn, you're going to have an issue. You are going to have an issue where you're going to be charging fast, but you're going to go out on the motorway and you don't have enough power to get up to speed. That was one of the issues I had. People said I had a faulty car, whatever, I was doing it wrong. Tesla Björn had the exact same car, exact same issue. Neither me or Björn have heard anything back from Tesla. My video on my review on the from Hyundai, sorry guys. My review on that car has gotten, I checked the other day, like 85,000 views or something. And Björn's videos has probably gotten hundreds of thousands of views. So you would have thought if this was, just an issue with this car, somebody at Hyundai would have contacted me or Björn and said like, guys, this was a faulty car. something wrong with this car, test this car. You're not gonna have the same issue. So I think there's an issue. Battery management, the heat management, and you know, the Kia guy kind of confirmed that today when I spoke to him about this. Oscar Vixon, EQE is also the same price bracket as i4. EQE is very interesting. I got to look at it briefly in Germany at the IAA International Auto Show, and it looks interesting. It looks kind of funny, like a shrunken or, you know, just a mushed EQS. But again, it was crowded. I wasn't able to, you know, see it properly. But yeah. Pierre Simonson, do you like the EQS? Yes, I like the EQS a lot. Even though the spec I have, both exterior and interior, is not at all how I would choose it. It's black with some boring wheels on the exterior, and there's also black on the interior. I would probably go white on white with those multiple spoke wheels. I think that would really bring that car to life, because I think the EQS looks a bit weird because it has this aerodynamic shape. But if you get in the right color with the right wheels, I think it looks pretty nice. But I do think the S-Class looks better. So why don't they make it like that? Well, it's because of the aerodynamics and range. Okay, guys, we're 106 people watching now. We're at 126. We're going to go a little bit further. We're still only at 124 likes. Can we get those 26 more likes? If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. Let's get to 124 likes. We've also reached 472 kroners in the super chat donations. That is awesome. Thank you so much, guys. It's so cool. This really makes me want to do these live streams at least once a week, where we can, you know, just do these like an hour, 2 hours, just talking about the week and the EVs I've been testing. I think it's really, really cool. So if you have a question, guys, if you want to donate to the channel, if you want to do it, donate via the super chat and support the channel, hit that, you know, super chat button. Doesn't matter if it's small or large. It's totally up to you. Ask me a question and I will specifically answer that question out loud. Okay, Bond, a brand new Ioniq 5 EV6 or used 2018 e-tron Jag I-Pace. What's your choice? Given that the charging is done at home all the time. So, I mean, e-tron, no doubt in my mind, the big e-tron is the better car. It's bigger. I mean, remember, guys, that e-tron 55 is a big car. It's almost 5 meters long, 2 meters wide. The trunk size in the EV6 or Ioniq 5 that has the biggest trunk of those cars is 520 liters or 530. The e-tron 55 or e-tron 50 has 660 liters plus a frunk. So it's over 700 liters. It's much bigger. It's a much bigger car. So you can't really compare them. I mean, big e-tron is almost Q size. It's about the size as an Audi Q8. It's big. It's also much more quiet and much more comfortable. Like, these cars are comfortable, but the e-tron has air suspension. You can also raise the ride height, you can lower it, and it's so much more quiet. It's one of the quietest EVs out there on the market. It's impressively quiet. And also, the charging. So if you go take a look at my 10 to 80% charging speed test with the Ioniq 5 back in September, October, when I actually did get a proper charging speed, still not that 18 minutes that Hyundai claim. I did 22 minutes. The average speed is 150 kilowatts. So I argued that the eGMP platform would be better off just having a flat charging curve from 0 to 80% of 150 kilowatts, because you would have gotten that same charging speed. You don't get that peak and then you get that drop. That is more practical in the real world, because there are much more 150 kilowatt chargers where you can get, you know, utilize that charging curve than there are 200, 250, 300, 350 kilowatt chargers, and now at least. So I think, you know, with everything said, I think that 220 kilowatt charging speed, or 240 now, in the EV6 Ioniq 5 is awesome, but also I think it is kind of a marketing stunt, because as I've shown in tests, if you have that flat charging curve, you're just gonna have the same charging speed, and also you're going to be able to be much more flexible on the charge. You're going to get that charging speed more of the time in the real world. And also the Ioniq 5, now the e-tron 55 has a large battery element, heating element. So even though if you go to a charger when it is, I don't know, minus 20 degrees outside, initially you're going to get slow charging, but as the heating element warms up the battery, you're going to hit that peak speed of 150 kilowatts. My charging test in the e-tron 55 was done in like minus 10 degrees. 150 kilowatt, 145 kilowatt I think was like the average speed from 10 to 80. It's insane. It's insane. So I just think the e-tron is a better car, but of course it's a better, more expensive car, like from the onset, so it should be better. I-Pace, I don't think, I mean, if you like the I-Pace, the looks of it, that way it drives, but it's outclassed here when it comes to, I mean, range is good enough, but it's outclassed when it comes to charging and also practicality. So yeah. You are still live. Yes, we're still live. Yes, we're still live. That's Chris back. Yeah, I know we're a little bit over time here now, but we're 17 likes away from hitting that 150 likes. So I just want to hit that 150 likes and then I'm gonna log off. No, we're gonna just keep going here, but 150 likes, we're 17 likes away. Muxley, EV6 or Polestar 2 if you have to choose? No, don't give me that question. You guys know I love the Polestar 2. I've been thinking hard about this the past week, and I'm just going to take a sip here and we're going to try to answer that question. Okay. Oh. Okay, so what the EV6 has going for it is, oh, this is so hard because the Polestar 2 has just gotten some updates. So, okay. EV6 is a bigger and more practical car. It has a bigger trunk and it has a bigger back seat. It has a bigger front cabin. So it's more practical, right? Polestar 2 is surprisingly practical. It's a fastback, but it has a smaller interior. Smaller exterior, but relatively towards the EV6, it has a smaller interior. So practicality wise, if you have a family, EV6. Also, when it comes to comfort, the Polestar 2 is more sportly set up, so the EV6 is going to be more comfortable. I also think you have more ground clearance, and also it's going to be cheaper. Is it? Yeah, it's going to be cheaper. 500. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. It's going to be a little bit cheaper. Also faster charging. It's gonna have faster charging, but the caveat there is the preheating while navigating to a charger in the Polestar 2 is the best. It works better than Tesla, guys. It's the best. You're just gonna get that charging speed reliable no matter the temperature. And when it gets cold now, I'm gonna take the standard range plus. I'm gonna do some testing there just to show you guys. So charging, it's, I don't know, it's kind of a wash because half of the time, at least if you live in a cold climate, the Polestar 2 is going to charge faster or at least more reliable, but the EV6 is going to charge faster elsewhere, right? But there's also rumored to be a software update where the EV6 Ioniq 5 gets, you know, the software update to preheating, but also Polestar may unlock more speed out of the battery. So I don't know, that one's kind of hard. It's hard for me to give any points to any of those cars. Infotainment system, also just everyday livability and practicality in the Polestar 2 when pedal driving. Just you have to hit that that paddle every time you get into the car and go out of reverse in the EV6 to get one pedal driving. It's just a bit annoying sometimes, and it doesn't have true one pedal driving as the Polestar 2. So just for me, when you don't need the space and practicality, the Polestar 2 is just an easier and more fun and pleasurable thing to drive. Better steering, better handling, it's more sporty, much more power. At least if you, and especially if you get the power update now to 476 horsepower, but then again, then you have the GT, EV6 GT, which isn't out yet. So if it was me, And I also think the Polestar 2 is one of the best looking cars like in the past 5 to 10 years. It's an awesome design. So I still think I would do Polestar 2. It's still one of my favorite cars in that market. But do I like the EV6 better than the Mustang Mach-E? Find that out on Wednesday when we drop the review. So guys, I think we're gonna log off now. I think we're going to end the stream here now. We've done 1.5 hours. We only got to 138 likes, almost 150. Do you want to go 10 more minutes, guys? And then we'll peak that 150 likes. Do for a few more questions here. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. So have you tried the P2 upgrade? No, I'm probably gonna do it very soon. And sounded bad. What's your best car for 600,000 kroners right now? V90? Aren't we? Isn't this an EV channel? V90. That's a hybrid. Yeah, we're not even gonna touch that. ABCD. Hi Chris. What winter tires should I get for my e-tron GT? Picking up on 20. Yeah. Ooh, I don't. You do not ABCD. You do not have many choices. 20-inch, 21-inch winter tires. If they make Nokians, get Nokians. If they make Continentals, get Continentals. I think I have the Michelins on. No, Pirellis. I think Pirellis, but I have not tested them yet. There are limited choices when you go for these extreme sizes. Frank Evenhagen, give me flat 150 kilowatt on my Ioniq 5, but my heating element is not working. So 3 times charging on Ioniq supercharger took me 30. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem is that it cold gates. You're not gonna get that advertised charging speed when it is cold. Battery life. How was the EQS? Extremely soft suspension or great ride? Great ride. Awesome ride. I mean, Mercedes S-Class ride quality, yeah, it's one of the best. It's one of the best. It is totally awesome. Guys, we're 8 likes away from 150 likes. Okay, we're soon there. No, the ride was great. The light emerging. Have to go. Thanks for an enjoyable live stream. Thank you so much for everybody watching and all the donations. This is awesome. This is only going to get better and better for every week now. We have my camera working. We have my microphone working. We have no lag. No issues at all. This is awesome, guys. And we also have the super chat working now. Okay. Evan Allan Himidi Rottenberg, EV6 does have one pedal driving. You have to hold. Yes, it has. Yes, you have to put it into iPedal. But every time you get into the car, you have to turn it on. And every time you get out of reverse and back into drive, you have to turn it on again, which is annoying. And it's not as good one pedal driving as what you have in the Polestar. There's something about, and again, my review on the EV6 is out on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, 0800 Central European time. So if you guys want to put an alarm, no, just kidding. But it's not as good. I mean, there's something about the throttle calibration which isn't very EV-like. There's this delay which is super annoying. T-Break, hello Mr. Battery Life. Yes, hello to Chris, Mr. Battery Life. Mazdreir, how in the world would you like on an iPhone? On the live stream, I don't know. Isn't there a like button like an ordinary YouTube video? We're 3 likes away from liking. Irena, which is the more silent cockpit, EV6 or Polestar? EV6 is Polestar is not as quiet as EV6, Ioniq 5, ID4. None of those cars. Even the Volvo XC40 has more road noise. So EV6 is pretty impressive when it comes to road noise. But I just think the other things, there's always a compromise, right? Getting these cars, you just have to, you have to look at your stats and you have to find the car and choose the car that fits you the best. Guys, 3 likes away from 150 likes. Come on, 3 more likes. Come on, guys. When will you get an EQE? I don't know. When will it be released? I have no idea. Let's see. Any more interesting questions? iX or Audi e-tron? I have not tested the iX yet, but I have been thinking about maybe getting one. So my plan here is, after I had my e-tron GT now, get a Cross Turismo, have that for 3 to 6 months, and then if everything goes after, to the plan, that I'm able to sell my car to somebody, I want to get an RS e-tron GT next summer. Have that throughout the summer, and then next fall again, maybe get an EQS, experience that car, and then maybe in the winter again get a BMW iX. That's how I want to do this. I want to invest all of this, the income, the donations and everything back into the channel, because I'm losing quite a bit of money on some of these cars, but I mean, it's my choice. 150 likes are right at 150. It says 149 here, but okay, awesome guys, 149 likes, one more like. No, so that's my goal, like putting all this money into, because there are a lot of people who do YouTube and are successful at YouTube, and then they buy cars. Usually they buy supercars, and of course I do like cars. I want to have all of these cool cars, but I also want to, if I'm successful at this, if we do get to some really good numbers, yes, now we're at 150 likes. Somebody subtracted their like, damn it. But my plan is, if I'm successful at this YouTube thing, like if I have good income, I purchase these new EVs, and then I do European road trips. I drive them a lot of kilometers and for more time than the typical week we are lent a press car. That's what I did with my big e-tron, which I lost 200,000 kroners on almost in a year. And then my e-tron GT that I'm going to lose a little bit of money on now if we're able to sell it. But I mean, it's worth it. I had an awesome car. I drove it 10,000 kilometers. I had an awesome experience going down to Germany, driving that on the Autobahn. Nobody else on YouTube, to my knowledge, has done that in an EV on an EV channel. So that's kind of the goal for this channel, is like buying these EVs and then just making this interesting, unique content. So yeah, buy EQXX, yeah. I can't wait for the supercars. Yeah, Rimac, yeah. If we get to 1 million subscribers, maybe I can afford a Rimac, maybe 10 million subscribers, but that is awesome. So no, I'm not made out of money. That's why I'm sitting here like live streaming at 10:30 in the evening, trying to make a video to get the income. Okay guys, we're now at 155 likes. Thank you so much. This live stream has been our best yet. You guys have almost donated 500 kroners via super chat, so thank you. Oh my god, Mikael Madsen, 200 kroners. Awesome. Okay, this is our last question, Mikael Madsen, and then we're gonna log off here. Thank you so much, Mikael Madsen. That is so appreciated. Wow. Can't have the Swedes topping the Danes. We have some Scandinavian rivalry here. How is the amount of chargers in Norway compared to the number of EVs on the road? In Denmark, we can see the lack of chargers caused the high amount of EVs sold at the moment. They are building out chargers at a rapid rate, but that means like in Norway, since we go to 250 Norwegian kroners, 200 Danish. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Wow. Yeah, we just went from 470 to 750 kroners. Mikael, you are insane. But yeah, what I was saying is that like if I were to drive to, I don't know, to Geilo, to Trysil, any of the popular weekend destinations here in Norway where people go skiing, especially in winter. Okay, people just keep Arslan. Okay, okay guys, okay guys, okay. Yeah. So if I were going there now, like on a Wednesday, you would go to a charter with like 4, 5, 6, even 10 charters, and most of them would be vacant. But in the weekend, during high season, they would be full. So in the high season, they are full. Off season, it's awesome. Like when I went to Bergen in the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus, I stopped like right before Geilo, and I don't know, 20 superchargers and like 8 Ioniq chargers. Like there were almost 30 chargers vacant, like totally empty. So that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, they're building a lot of chargers everywhere. So I don't know, if they keep building chargers, it's not going to be a problem. But they've sold more than 100,000 EVs the past year in Norway, which is insane. How many EVs are sold in Denmark? 100,000 EVs. Okay, Arslan, 50 kroners. Thank you so much, dude. We're now at 900 kroners. We're almost at 1,000 kroners now. It's insane. RS e-tron GT contribution. Thank you, Big Bear, bringing back Sweden in the lead. Yeah, I think Sweden is leading now. But Allan Himri Rothenborg donated 100 Danish kroner, so I think now Denmark is leading. Denmark have donated 300 kroners. That is awesome. Okay, I almost don't want to go now, but guys, save your questions, save your money for the next stream. We're gonna do, okay, so now it is Monday. We're gonna do next Sunday or next Monday, depending on, I'm going to Bergen for Christmas to visit my mother. Gonna spend Christmas there, and then I'm going back here on Monday. I think I'm gonna go back here on Sunday. So I think the next live stream is maybe at 7 o'clock next Monday. So guys, thank you so much for watching. This live stream has been awesome. We've almost had 3,000 people in the live stream throughout these almost 2 hours, and almost 160 likes, and you guys have donated almost 1,000 Norwegian kroners. That is 100 euros for people on the continent. So guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been an awesome live stream, the best yet, and all the gear is working. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always guys, please subscribe. See you guys later next week, and goodbye. Stop.